Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is TamezTech. Welcome to a new video. Today we're going to be checking out one of the new teams I tried for the Summer Cup. I was really interested in trying Shadow KINGDRA. I never really had one before, and now that it has pacing with Swift, I felt pretty inclined to try it out. I also tried Caesar in the save swap, which proved to be really problematic for most of my opponents today. So I might be trying it again tomorrow. We'll see. And I also just put Diggersby in the back, really safe Pokemon. Honestly, having a ground type in the back right now seems like the move for the Summer Cup. So that'd be one of my biggest recommendations for this cup. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into these battles and see what we can do with this team. Alright, on to the first game. We got a Azumarill. And you'll notice that I actually didn't really TM my KINGDRA. I thought it was ready to use and it was not. So we're on Waterfall, Hydro Pump, Outrage for the first game. So let's see if we can take it. We actually get counter swapped with a Talonflame, which is not great. 3 Waterfalls I guess should do it here, which is really weird. But yeah, they Brave Bird. We have to shield. That would totally knock out. They come in with the Dene, and honestly, I'm kind of glad I have Waterfall. Not gonna lie. This Parabolic shouldn't knock out, so I'm just gonna blind throw the Hydro, and they actually catch on Azu. I do not mind. That is an insane amount of damage to get to them. At this point, I feel like I have to go for a double bait. I think my opponent is always going to shield this since they have a Dedenne in the back. So it's a pretty safe bait, but them calling it would be really bad for us. They will land an Ice Beam here, which is a little bit problematic for us, not going to lie. But we will be able to overfarm pretty severely here. We are at the back-to-back, so them shielding this is kind of foolish, but they do. So we just catch on KINGDRA. We really gave KINGDRA so much more work than it had the right to have. So we can just farm this Azu all the way down, Scorching Sands to the Dene, and we'll take that game pretty comfortably despite our despite our weird moveset there. On to the second game. Let's see what we got for this lead. We got Golisopod in the lead. My opponent was kind of lagging here, but then they caught up really fast. You can tell by my HP, so I couldn't really tell what their energy was at. You know, I know it's usually like a play to kind of like let your opponents catch up if you're trying to be like a good person or whatever. But you never know with these lag spikes and such, right? We aren't able to get the Outreach there. I got a little bit greedy. I should have just sent the Swift there. But regardless, they have a Venusaur. We have a Caesar for this. It's perfect. And they are staying in, so I kind of want to shield my Caesar, even though the Frenzy Plant would be really resisted. And they have a Macargo in the back. Again, really surprised that they shielded there. I don't understand. We actually boost with the first Night Slash, so we can guarantee the shield with the second. And their Macargo is on Ember, so even better for us. They weren't able to farm down our Caesar as quickly as they wish they could have, right? We don't really have to shield anything from this Macargo at this point. They can throw the Rock Tomb, they can throw the Overheat. Nothing's really gonna knock out, especially after that Overheat debuff. So yeah, we take that game. Good stuff there. Shout out to Jamie Finn. Okay, this lead was really problematic for my team. Cradily. I played it a few different ways. I would like bank an Outrage and then swap into my Caesar, kind of like surprise them. You'll see a few of them would stay in. They had a hard punish for us, but honestly, just getting that bullet punch damage into that Cradily was amazing for us. Shielding here is a big mistake, so I'm just going to take the damage that I could do and bring in my KINGDRA. Although I'm thinking, okay, you know what? I actually kind of wall this with with Diggersby, and there's a Cradily waiting for me in the back, so might as well give my Diggersby a little bit of use here. Farm up quite a bit with my Diggersby. I should be able to get to a Scorching Sands against that Cradily. So we actually snipe with a Swift bait, and they do shield, which is really good for us. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, I think I might need my KINGDRA for the back. They full send the Grass Knot, which is really good for us. And they bring in an Emolga. We have thrown 2 moves, and we have 2 moves on our KINGDRA. So we're able to either get both shields or the knockout, or swap out into our Diggersby into that Emolga. And now that we can outpace to the Swift, we're able to take this game. But yeah, just playing with the new switch clock has been really fun as well, especially with KINGDRA's new typing. I mean, new pacing. You can kind of save it more often than you could. Okay, we got Typhlosion lead in the next game. A little bit tricky, depending on what they swap out. They actually swap out a KINGDRA, and look at this. I thought I could tank an outrage and just play for shield advantage, and we just get fully knocked out there. Really big misplay by me. So now I'm just going to come in with KINGDRA, farm this all the way down, have a little bit of energy for the backline. It is a Cradily, so I'm going to full send the outrage, hope it goes through the shields. And it does. Big misplay by my opponent. We can actually outpace to the Swift here as well. And now we just swap into Digger Speed, right? We don't really have to shield anything here. I kind of just have to get both shields. So I should be able to outpace to the double Fire Punch before they get to the Thunder Punch they need to knock us out here. So I will throw one quick attack and the Fire Punch just to make sure that I do get the most amount of fast move damage I can before getting knocked out. And now my opponent has to get to 2 Thunder Punches to knock us out. They're still 1 Incinerate away from that, but we are 4 Dragon Breaths away from our Swift. So we're able to take that game once again. Really dumb play by me in the mid game there, but we were still able to win that game, thankfully. On to the next battle, we got Caesar lead. Really problematic. I think I'm just gonna chip and dip here, throw the Swift. Usually they'll shield this. Even if they don't though, we can just come in with Caesar, farm this all the way down. They actually instant throw the Night Slash here, and there are a lot of really hard counters to Caesar this in this cup, so I didn't really want to shield there. It looks like my opponent didn't have a real counter to Caesar, so maybe a shield there wouldn't have been the worst thing. That Trailblaze landing though does put them into a Fire Punch range for me later. I try for a cheeky catch, unfortunately I don't get it. So now we're in a big pit of problems here. They have Quagsire in the back, so I'm just gonna full send the Scorching. I'm thinking maybe an Aqua Tail doesn't knock out by this range, but it definitely does, especially after those mud shots. So we get knocked out here, and we're just banking it all on KINGDRA here, right? My opponent throws a little bit early here, which is weird. This is just an Aqua Tail. It's the most resisted move KINGDRA could possibly tank there, so that's totally fine by me. At this point, we have 2 shields. They have 2 shields. I'm thinking, okay, you know what? I think this might be a fast move beatdown. And then I instantly correct myself like an idiot. And I start throwing energy. I'm like, okay, this is really stupid. I should just go for the fast move down. So I do commit now, and thankfully we get it. But I had a lot of that happen to me yesterday, just recognizing my win con and still not playing to it. It was really weird. Tricky lead again in the next match. We got Ufisk in the lead. Usually I like to full send. I like to send the nuke here. They actually bring in Fortress and I still send the nuke. I don't know why I did that. And then I bring in Caesar. I want to save my Digger Speed in the back just so I can deal with that Ufisk. This is a little early too, so it's just a Sand Tomb. I'm going to overfarm quite a bit here, get to back to back. If they want to bring in that Ufisk, we're still going to have a Trailblaze ready for them. And now that it's a double boosted Trailblaze thanks to that boost, they're definitely going to shield here. We do get a few triple boosted bullet punches there. Even though they're resisted, they put in the damage. They bring in a Venusaur here. So I throw the Fire Punch just because we have a little bit of a pacing advantage. They are going to go for the... they're going to try to go for the fast move down here, which they do get. But we really just have to use both of our shields here against the Venusaur. And that Stunfisk isn't really going to be able to do anything against us afterward, right? So they should be 1 quick attack away from fainting after this. So they switch out. They try to start doing some work with their Ufisk, but at this health range, they're going to need about 6 Mud Bombs to actually knock us out, unfortunately for them. So yeah, the Scorching pretty much puts them on farm down range, and it's a GG to my opponent there. On to the next game here. We got KINGDRA against Digger Speed. A little bit of a tricky matchup, but we do actually survive a Scorching Sands. I make a mistake here. I throw the Swift a lot earlier than I should have. I should have farmed up to Outrage at least. I really just wanted to throw before a debuff, but I forgot that the debuff chance is so much higher now. They bring in Dugong, so we have a good counter to this with Caesar. And they always bait, right? They always Icy Wind. They really do. So we're able to tank that pretty comfortably. We come out with a lot of HP for the backline and some residual energy. So yeah, they bring in an Emolga now, and we can go for these Night Slashes, no problem. They are neutral damage. They haven't been boosted since we got debuffed by the Dugong and then boosted ourselves again with the Trailblaze. But yeah, we have a Digger Speed for the Emolga, and I'm thinking, okay, you know what? I think these acrobatics are probably the most damaging move left in the game, right? I don't really have to shield anything from this Digger Speed. So I kind of just want to put it into a snipe down range with a Swift, or maybe take down their shield so I can snipe the Emolga with an Outrage. I'm just going to instantly throw the Fire Punch here since I know it knocks out. And Emolga is just going to have an insanely difficult time against us, right? So we can kind of just fast move down at this point, take the game. Yeah, I feel a little bit sorry for my opponent there, a little bit RPS of a game, but we are able to take it. Okay, mirror lead. I have a pretty bad KINGDRA, as you can see on the left, so I was pretty confident I'd win CMP, and we do. But my opponent no shields, and I'm thinking, okay, you know what? I don't think I want to go down shields against KINGDRA lead, so I'll just win switch. They bring in Digger Speed, and this is a little bit tricky, right? So I'm gonna actually bring in my own Digger Speed. We do have a little bit of a health advantage, but they do have the energy advantage, which isn't great. So right now we're just kind of tossing a coin in the air. Hopefully one of us gets the debuff to kind of guarantee the matchup, right? Because that's really what it comes down to. If none of us get the debuff though, I will throw my next Scorching Sands, wait for them to throw their next, and try to snipe with Caesar. Okay, no, we just snipe here. They will get to a Fire Punch, but we do get a lot of energy here. We get 5 bullet punches for free. They should be dry on their Digger Speed now, and they have a Venusaur. So this is pretty good for us. We should be able to outpace here, but we might need a catch because they do get to the 2 Frenzies before we get to our 3rd Night Slash. So let's see what we can do here. We have to shield this up. This would do a lot of damage. It is a Sludge, unfortunately, so that would have done less, but we are able to catch the Frenzy on our Digger Speed right before we get the next Night Slash. So yeah, we just farmed this all the way down with Trailblaze the Venusaur. It looks like they caught a bullet punch on Digger Speed before. That actually had me so traumatized and confused when it happened on stream. I had no idea like when Digger Speed came in that it just got knocked out instantly. Okay, Fortress lead. Insanely problematic for this team. Really not good to see Fortress lead. We swap in Caesar, they bring in Gastro. They actually throw an alignment there. They will get a pretty decent farm down here, but I want to get both shields down with my Caesar. See if I can do some work against that Fortress afterwards. So we have both shields down. We can bring in KINGDRA, but man, this is going to do a lot of damage to us. KINGDRA is not very tanky in its shadow form, so 2 body slams should knock out. I'm just going to full send the Swift right away. I don't really want to take more damage. I want to be able to use my KINGDRA in the back if I have to, and they have their own KINGDRA. Unfortunately, I don't think there's a win con this game. My win con I thought would be to call a Swift bait, and that could put us back in the game, but they full send the Outrage, rightfully so. So the game's over for us there. GG's to my opponent. They played that pretty well. On to the next game. We got Venusaur lead. Not great, not bad. If you notice, this Venusaur is actually running Razor Leaf. Really weird play by my opponent. So I'm going to chip and dip, get the shield. They actually bring in more Peko, and since we have this energy lead, I'm just going to full send the Trailblaze, see what they want to do. And they actually no shield. I was fully expecting a Psychic Fangs here, but thankfully they actually Aura Wheel. So we're not debuffed, we are buffed, and we still have shield advantage. Now they bring in Charizard, but since it's a Dragon Breath Charizard, I guess it makes sense why they didn't bring it into our Caesar. They actually make a beautiful catch on Venusaur, but Venusaur had so much energy that I start charging again because I remember I still need to take this Caesar down. I mean, this Venusaur down. Now we bring in KINGDRA, we try to force out energy. They really want to see my last Pokemon, so at this point I'm thinking, okay, you know what? I think I can still bullet punch this down with my Caesar, but they really want to see my last Pokemon. So, okay, trainer, I'll give you the last Pokemon. Here it is, it's Digger Speed. And yeah, we were able to take that game. Really funny play by my opponent there. And really funny team too. Okay, Ufisk lead once again. Let's full send the Outrage, see what we can do. We can tank 1 discharge pretty comfortably. I don't know why we're tanking a discharge. Apparently every single one of my Ufisk opponents would throw discharge into KINGDRA. Trainer, you should throw Mud Bomb every single time. They discharge once again. They knock us out, so we get a little bit of farm with Caesar. Hopefully they don't have a hard counter to us in the back, and they kind of don't. They bring in Toxapex. And right here I'm thinking, okay, I kind of want to chip and dip. I want to maybe shield once, keep some energy for the back line. And I want to bring my Diggersby here because it's probably a pretty good matchup. But I'm realizing, man, these bullet punches are kind of chunking right after the first boost. So after a second Trailblaze lands, we can actually knock it out. And they have a Meganium in the back. Thank God we didn't swap in, because they could have put in a lot of work if we gave this Meganium an energy lead with our Diggersby. And we don't even have to show our Diggersby. We go down both of our shields, but we just farm everything all the way down. So GG's to my opponent there. Once again, Ufisk lead. Man, people are really enjoying this Ufisk lead. I might have to run Gastro lead today. They discharge once again. Really weird. We full send the Outrage, see if we can land it. If we don't, we should swap out. It looks like we're staying in. They actually let us get to a Swift, which is really weird. But I'll totally take it. And they can't really Thundershock us down, so they do have to expend their energy here. I'm going to bring in Diggersby. Just if they want to throw energy. They bring in Golisopod, so this is a little bit tricky, right? Pod is really, really fast, so I'm hoping that if I land a Trailblaze, I can farm this thing all the way down. Okay, we do land it, so we should be able to farm it down. We do. Ufisk does have a lot of energy though, and my opponent has played this really well despite their really tricky lead matchup. Here I try to catch a move, but they don't throw instantly, and they have Cradley in the back, so unfortunately I believe this is game over for us. Just having Cradley in the back, banking all that Ufisk energy that practically one-shots our Caesar, it was really bad for us. So maybe I should have made an earlier play there, but having Diggersby into Cradley is just such a terrible matchup for us, because they can always win this matchup and come out with some energy. And since the clock is up, we bring in Caesar. We actually get denied. They actually get the swap and the throw of the move, and we still get denied. So I don't know. I still think we get knocked out by 3 assets there, but if we don't, we could have actually won that game. Draft Rig lead in the next game. Kind of tricky, right? We're able to throw this Swift pretty much instantly on good timing. They shield the first. I'm going to throw the second on CMP, and they actually catch an Azu. I'm totally fine with this. I'm going to bring in Caesar, and hopefully a Trailblaze plus all these bullet punches should knock out. So we're able to throw this Trailblaze instantly on good timing once again. And it looks like they're on Play Rough Hydro Pump, so they don't get an Ice Beam off. We should be able to survive this move. It is just a Psychic Fangs and just Bullet Punch all the way down. We have a boosted Night Slash for the back, but we actually get greedy and we get to a Trailblaze. I am so greedy in this game. At this point, game's pretty much over. It's a Ferret down 2 shields against the Diggersby. Even though they have super effective Trailblaze, it's still not gonna do much for them. They actually have Brick Break, so at this point I'm thinking, holy shit, is Brick Break a move? I'm not sure. I'm gonna try and catch just so I can reset my debuff before I take another move. But they actually they top left right before I do my catch, so I guess GG's the opponent there. Gastro lead, a little bit tricky, but I guess I'd rather see it here than on my Caesar, just because Caesar doesn't really have a lot of play to Gastro. I'm gonna full send the Outrage. The opponent does shield, rightfully so. I feel like KINGDRA has done enough work here. So we tank the Earth Power. We can just bring in Diggersby here. Don't really want to take all these Mud Slaps. So let's see what Diggersby can do. Just full send the Scorching right away. I make a big misplay here. I undercharge thinking fully charged Scorching wouldn't knock out. It definitely would have there. So they get a Water Pulse into us, which really, really sucks. And now they bring in Talonflame, and you can guess where this game's going to go. I should have swapped out of that Gastro lead, but I didn't really know who to swap into, right? So 2 Incinerates are going to knock out our Caesar, and that's a good game to my opponent there. Once again, Ufisk lead. People are very creative in this cup. People are running the coolest lead imaginable. Jesus. Once again, they keep discharging. Really hilarious. And we're going to call the bait once again here, but this opponent is a little smarter than the last one. They actually drill run. We are still able to take the zeros pretty comfortably here, even with that drill run, which it looks like my opponent does want to give up. And we should get to a Night Slash against the backline, hopefully. But they have a Firo. Firo is able to peck us down before we get our next move. We do have a lot of energy on KINGDRA. If you can tell there, the animations were being really weird and the connection wasn't great. So we actually CMP tie, which I was not trying to do. But they actually let that go, and now they just have a 2-shield Ufisk in the back. So yeah, that's a GG. I can't believe my opponent didn't really read that well. Seeing that we had a Caesar and a KINGDRA lead, we were already decently weak to Ufisk, that our third Pokemon could not be weak to Ufisk. So yeah, they're just gonna stay in this matchup. I should have accelerated this game. I believe this opponent was kind of just bad mannering me, just throwing all their moves, knowing that they had already lost the game, but they still wanted to keep playing. You can see here I have 3 moves, right? I have a Swift on KINGDRA and 2 Fire Punches on Diggersby, but my opponent is just going to shield every single move no matter what. And now we can finally combo with the KINGDRA. We don't even have to bubble anything and actually take out the Firo. So yeah, I guess my opponent was just a little pissed that they got beat in that game, but whatever, right? Once again, Cradley lead. I believe Cradley and Ufisk were the most common leads we saw today. So I wonder how those 2 opponents would fare against against each other, right? The Ufisk against the Cradley. We tank the Rock Tomb. We swap into Caesar. They bring in their own Caesar. I wish I would have thrown this Night Slash earlier because we actually get the boost, right? So we would have gotten 2 boosted bullet punches instead of 1. Regardless, we can bring Diggersby here. This is just a Night Slash. They throw really early. I don't know why. But since it's just a Night Slash, we can keep over farming here, throw the Fire Punch right before they get their second Night Slash. They do let that go, thankfully for us, because Caesar could have put a lot of work even with that amount of HP. And they have it for Alligator in the back. We catch a double resisted Hydro Cannon here, which is really nice for us. They come in with Cradley, and I throw an alignment accidentally, but this Swift should still knock out, thankfully. We have a lot of energy for this Gator. And at this point, I just don't think Gator has a win con. They were pretty much dry when they came back in, so they're 1 away from another move. And we can still get to another Swift to force the shield and the damage. So yeah, GG to my opponent there. Sorry about that. Hey, look at that. I don't think I've seen this lead before in my entire life. This might be the first time I ever see Cradley lead. Off with the sarcasm though. Jesus. People are running the exact same meta Pokemon no matter what. I guess I'm one to talk running Caesar Diggersby in the back, but it's kind of hard to run new fun meta picks with this stuff running around. This Dunsparce actually no shields the Trailblaze, which I believe should give me a chance to farm all the way down before their next move, and it does, thankfully to that boost. So they bring in Cradley now. Once again, I get super greedy. I try to go for the farm down that I don't get. It will still be fine though. I should have come in with my Diggersby to get an energy advantage. But regardless, it is a Morpeko on the back. We should be able to take this game. They actually Aura Wheel for the first just to have a little bit more damage, which I feel like it's a pretty good play, but it also hurts their pacing. So maybe going Psychic Fangs would have been a better idea there. But yeah, regardless of what they throw here, it should have knocked out. We should be able to get to the Scorchings. My opponent actually tries for a catch here a little bit early. So now we actually have the Scorchings and we take the game. And that was the last game. As you can see, my Elo reveal wasn't great. I got 2036 for my Elo reveal. Let's go back and look at that real quick. Yeah, 2036, just not great. This was my lowest Elo reveal ever. I believe my lowest before this was like 2250, 2230. So yeah, getting to 2036 here, not great, not super proud of that. But we have had a lot of fun streams. You know, we had an auto rec stream, we had a birthday stream. So yeah, just a lot of that stuff going on, right? But without further say, from these battles, I hope you guys enjoyed them. Let's go ahead and head to the question of the day and see what we got for you guys. All right, and for the question of the day, we got, what's your favorite fast move? A lot of people really like Incinerate. Incinerate is a 5-turn move. It does a lot of damage, so it's pretty cool. But personally, I feel like 2-turn moves are probably the way to go in terms of competitive play. It's just really easy to kind of manage your energy. 1-turn moves are also really a high skill gap, right? So let me know, what is your favorite move. If I had to choose one, I'd probably choose something like Shadow Claw or even Ember. Now with its new pacing, it's kind of fun, right? But regardless, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Once again, I have my socials up there, so feel free to follow me on Instagram, X, TikTok. I stream every single day on Twitch, so please feel free to come by, and I'll see you guys in the next one.